As I've mentioned in a few of my videos, I am actually moving away next month. I've actually spent the last 15 years of my life in this house, which would seem weird because I'm 20 now and I'm at university, but obviously I didn't move away for university. I've just finished my second year of university and the first 2 years of uni I've spent at home. And whenever I say that I still live at home, people always tend to think it's really odd, especially other university students. Once I found out I actually got into Plymouth University, it was kind of a given that I was going to stay at home. No ifs or maybes, I genuinely did just want to stay at home, which again people think is odd. And for this video I'm going to kind of just talk about my experience of living at home, starting with the pros, and probably the biggest pro: it saves so much money. Most student accommodation that isn't halls is quite cheap, but when you don't get the most student loan, which I know some of my friends don't because their parents earn quite a lot of money, you are literally stuffed really. You have hardly anything to live off once you take your rent off. You can see this in two ways, but I suppose I'm kind of fortunate because my parents don't earn much that I actually get the top band for living at home. And I could have actually opted not to take out student finance at all, and I could have easily survived because I was living at home, but I chose to take it out anyway. But instead I've kind of used that money over the 2 years to do a lot of travelling and things. I think the major thing for me is not being able to have a car. If I'd moved away, I definitely would not have been able to afford it, and if I didn't have a car I would not have got my placement for the next year, because my placement is in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of fundamental that you have a car, and not many uni students had a car. That was probably part of the reason I actually got the job, because I didn't have much competition, because not many people have cars. So in a way, living at home has got me a job, so can't really complain there. I suppose another pro is that you have your parents around. I do try my best not to take advantage of this, but my mum doesn't work and she's here a lot of the time, so she does a lot of the cleaning and the cooking. I mean, I do try and clean and stuff whenever I can, but it's a bit difficult when my mum's always here. Especially comes in handy when I have loads of deadlines, because I can literally just vegetate in my room and not having to worry about cooking a meal or anything. And genuinely, if I'd moved out and I had all these deadlines, I would have literally been living off pizza, because I would not have had time to deal with cooking a meal as well as all the deadline stress. So that has definitely helped. The next point I'm going to make is a huge one for me, and I think it was the absolute selling point at living at home, is that you have your own space. I absolutely hate people. I literally despise sharing my space with people. I am a social person, but I also like my downtime on my own. I was just so worried before going to uni that if I moved away I would have ended up in a flat with people that I didn't really get along with, especially because I don't drink, which makes things really difficult, and people that were messy or noisy at early hours in the morning, and I just feel like I would have felt like I was trapped in my own room. I know obviously a lot of people that have nice flatmates, but you know, you always get the few. And even when you do have nice flatmates, and because you're basically just living with a group of your friends, it can be very distracting when it comes to deadlines and stuff. So at least for me, I know I can go home and escape everything and kind of just knuckle down. Also another thing is that your family and friends are all nearby, and especially because there's been a lot going on in my family in the last couple of months, I've been so grateful that I've been here and not like 2 hours away worrying about stuff there. There are definitely some disadvantages to living at home, of course. One of the big things when you start uni and you live at home is it makes it incredibly difficult to make friends. When you start in Freshers Week, you've obviously start to make friends with your housemates first, and obviously I don't have that. The only people I really would have had the opportunity to get to know is the people on my course, so it does make it quite difficult. Although I do have a lot more independence now from when I was like 17, because I have a car, I can kind of go out when I want and do what I want. It's still difficult to have complete independence when you still live with your parents. Like I said, it is easy to rely on them too much. Even though my parents are pretty good now that I'm an adult, there still can be times where they're constantly just asking me stuff and like, when are you gonna be home, or are you in tonight, or things like that, and sometimes it's just a bit suffocating. Another one which is a very big one for me is the fact that because I still live at home, I live quite far away from the university compared to everybody else. I have to get a bus into uni every day, which is the biggest pain in the ass because our bus system is awful, and it literally takes me about half an hour on a good day if the buses aren't running really late. And plus I can't drive in because there's no free parking anywhere, and it's very expensive to park anywhere near the uni, so that can be a bit of a pain in the ass, and especially when things overrun and then I miss my bus and I have to wait another half an hour to the next bus. If you're planning to live at home when you go to university, or you already live at home while you're at university, there are a few things that I would suggest to you. One thing is you have to make extra effort to try and make friends, be that with your course mates or in joining a society or going to events organised by the uni. You do definitely need to try more. You don't want to finish your 3 or 4 years of uni and then think, I haven't actually made any friends for uni, because it's meant to be quite a big experience of your life, and if you don't have any friends to share it with, it's just obviously not as fun. If you are deciding to stay at home, one thing I would do is sit down with your parents and kind of discuss how things are going to work, and make sure they know that even though you're living at home, you still want your own freedom. Make sure they kind of don't do too much for you, because I know that can happen accidentally sometimes, and I am a big one for that. One last point I would like to make, which I feel is really important, it isn't the be all and end all. Just because you decide to live at home in your first year doesn't mean you have to live at home for the rest of your time at uni. If you really hate it that much, you can just move out next year. It's not really the end of the world. So yeah, that's all I really have to say on that kind of topic. Yeah, I know it can be stressful trying to decide whether you want to live at home for uni or you want to move away, but I hope if you are struggling to make a decision, this video has helped even slightly, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye!